Hi, and welcome to Discovering the Design Thinking Process lecture. I am your instructor, Gail Bayetta, and today we are going to talk about design thinking process by first watching a video. Then I'm going to talk about key points from the video, and then we will join the discussion board to continue our thoughts and feedback on the video. So let's get started. This is a YouTube video called What is Design Thinking by username Sean Van Genderen. And I like this video because it's short, to the point, but also fairly comprehensive. And while you're watching the video, please feel free to pause at any time, write down notes or questions to share with me in the discussion board. So let's get started and watch it now.
Hi there. Have you noticed that the world is full of problems? There are big, hairy problems like poverty and disease and small annoyances like misplacing your keys. However, the geniuses at Stanford have come up with a process that will broaden your perspective and help you create better solutions no matter the type of problem. This process is called design thinking, and it's here to change the way you tackle problems. Design thinking encourages people to explore new alternatives, creating options that had not existed before. Design thinking is successful because it focuses on the needs of the user. It's more than just good ergonomics, it's about understanding the context and culture of the stakeholders involved. This understanding is found using direct observation and qualitative data, which produces stories that people can really empathize with. Once the research is conducted, the problem solver is more apt to define what the real problem is. After diagnosing the true problem, it's time to ideate or brainstorm new ideas without the constraints of existing solutions. Because design thinkers learn by doing, these radical ideas are then made into simple prototypes that test possible outcomes. Rapid prototyping speeds up the innovation process because we only learn about the quality of our ideas when we test them in the real world. The process of ideating, prototyping, and testing is repeated early on so that mistakes are quick, cheap, and ultimately lead to success. So, why design thinking? The process provides a method and a unifying language for multidisciplinary collaboration, leading to greater creativity and better solutions faster. Suddenly, the world's problems are simple and manageable with design thinking.
Okay, so like I said, that was a very short video just to go over the key points of design thinking. And let's continue with this lecture. So the key points that I want to talk about is design thinking's focus, influencers of the process, and what makes it so different from any other design process that's out there. So for the first key point, problem solving, design thinking is really looking at design as a problem solving framework. Traditionally, when we talk about design, we think of it as, at least in the graphic design background that I have, it can be viewed as a tool to make a product more attractive or more marketable. But design thinking isn't really about that. It digs deeper. It's really about how can we support people's needs and how can we solve their problems. So another section of the video talked about the thought leaders in design thinking, and they went over David Kelly and Tim Brown and Stanford University. In the language of the video, it sounded as if David and Tim were both from Stanford, but it's a little bit different from that. So first we'll start with David Kelly. He is the founder of the design firm IDEO, and we'll talk about them a little bit in a minute. And he also helped lead the creation of the D School at Stanford. IDEO is a global design company, and here is a snapshot from their website. Here are some of the existing clients that they have, but they've worked with a really large variety of clients through the years, from Apple to Palm, and have done a lot of different influential things. So their key point is they brought design thinking to the public eye, I'd say about 2005, 2006, with a segment on Nightline where they redesigned the shopping cart experience, and that really was a segment that made a lot of people understand what design thinking was about. And they have worked with many companies using the design thinking process. And this leads to Tim Brown. He is currently the CEO and president of IDEO. and he frequently speaks about the value of design thinking and innovation. And he has a fairly influential TED Talk about how he came to realize the value of design thinking versus just design. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in our upcoming sections. Finally, the D School is at Stanford, and it is officially called the Institute of Design at Stanford, the Hasso-Plattner Institute Design at Stanford. This is a graduate program at Stanford, and it's multidisciplinary. It brings a lot of students and instructors from different experiences at Stanford to solve problems with the design thinking process. So these three, Tim Brown and David Kelly and Stanford, are huge influencers in design thinking, and they want to share design thinking with everyone in the world. They want to really have people understand what design thinking is and how it can solve a lot of problems. So this is important to us because we are using a lot of the D-School materials, in fact most of it, in this course. Okay, so moving on to what makes design thinking different. I can talk about the contrast of the typical graphic design process to the design thinking process. So in my background in graphic design, generally what happens is the client brings problems to the design firm or the designer. We write a creative brief, we think about possible solutions, we do a lot of sketches, we identify a solution, we perfect that solution, and then we present that to the client. The design thinking process is different because in this process, the designers talk directly to the users with the empathy. Then they write a design statement that talks about what could be possible solution, and then they think of many ideas for that, and then they immediately go to prototyping, which is making low fidelity solutions to their client early in the process. This prototyping is what makes it very different from the typical graphic design process. So with prototyping, you show very low fidelity early on, you get feedback from your client, and they let you know immediately what's working and what's not working, and it takes out a lot of the guesswork. Then once you've tested that, which is what the process I was talking about, you go back and you reiterate and make more prototypes, test back and forth until you figure out either a new solution or a new direction or a final solution. So design thinking differs a lot because process is valued over perfection. And I think this is something that people who are interested in design struggle with a lot. They want to get to the right answer and to perfection very early on, and to find a really strong solution takes a lot of trial, error, and failing very quickly. So that's one thing that I really appreciate about the design thinking process, is that it focuses on the process of failure. Okay, so to conclude, your assignment is to, after this lecture, join the discussion board and answer these questions. What did you find most interesting about the lecture or the YouTube video? What part of the process do you think you'll enjoy in the design thinking? Which part of the process do you think you'll have difficulty with? And if you have any questions, you can ask them on the board itself. The second part of this competency is for you to experience the design process yourself, and you will do that by designing a gift experience for somebody else. All right, so have fun exploring, and I will talk with you on the discussion board, and I can't wait to hear what you've got to say. Thank you so much.